So, a player at our camp a few years ago asked a really insightful question, a question that I don't think I've ever heard another player ask. And it takes a lot of awareness to actually even know that this is going on in your system, but it's something that we all are going through on some level. And so, I'll share it with you here. And uh, if you are trying to transform and reach a next level of some sort in your game and in your life, this is going to be critical to understand. So, I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but the question was something along the lines of the fact that his struggle and suffering that he'd been going through, all of the challenge and grind and the difficulty that he was facing, trying to get to this next level that he was aiming for, that suffering and struggle had actually become a source of comfort for him. It actually felt kind of good because it had become familiar. He had been hustling and grinding and trying to get there and struggling and suffering for so long that it was kind of all he knew. And so it became comfortable, and he was, in a sense, sort of like addicted to it because, again, it was comfortable and familiar. And this this is a really, really insightful fact about the human mind. We become familiar with what we know. And if you have been suffering and struggling in a certain way for a certain amount of time, psychologically, you have oriented yourself to that world of suffering and struggle. And outside, if you step outside of that world, we don't know what's there. We don't know what challenges may lie at the next level. So our suffering at this level has become comfortable and familiar because we know it. So the reason I share this with you is because there are parts of us unconsciously that are holding us back from that next level that we want to reach simply because we are comfortable. We have become comfortable with the suffering at this level. If you're a bench player, for example, and this is only an example here, whether you're a bench player or not doesn't matter. But to understand this, let's say you've been struggling to become a starter and you want it so badly that you've been suffering every single game, like sitting on the bench, wondering when your name is going to be called, when your coach is going to finally put you in, and you're sitting on the bench watching your teammates play and knowing that you're better than them, but not getting the chance to prove it, and so on and so forth. There is a part of you, recognize, that unconsciously actually likes being on the bench because it's what you know. It's comfortable, it's known, it's safe. There's not as much responsibility. It's yes, you're suffering, but that suffering has become, again, comfortable. So recognize that because of that sort of warm blanket of suffering that we all wear, because of that, we are unconsciously holding ourselves back in very subtle ways from breaking through to the next level because the next level may not be so comfortable. There may be more responsibility if you become a starter and you're looked to by your teammates to take more shots, to have the ball in your hands at the end of games, to hold more responsibility. There's more, there's more potential glory, but there's also more criticism if you fail, and so on and so forth. And all of that is true. It's super true. You have to be willing to let go of that sort of comfort blanket of the struggle in order to break through to what you've been struggling for. Hopefully that really sinks in and makes sense. There are parts of all of us unconsciously that are holding us back from the next level because this level has become so comfortable and so familiar and so known to us. So be willing to take off that comfort blanket of suffering and step into the player that you know you can be, which is ultimately a player that has more responsibility and more potential for failure in front of others and more potential for embarrassment, but also more potential, more potential, okay? More potential, period, to do anything that you want to in this game. So, my invitation to you in this note is to number one, just recognize the fact that, yes, this like suffering and struggle and grind and difficulty and challenge has become almost like I hesitate to use this word, but almost like a minor addiction. We're addicted to it in a sense, and that's because it's become so comfortable and so known and familiar to us. So become aware of that. In what ways are you subtly holding yourself back from the next level because this level is so comfortable? Become aware of that. And then ultimately, Look at these ways in which you're holding yourself back. Look at the struggle that you're going through and ask, like, do I still need this? Am I willing to let this go? And when you are fully willing to let it go, is when you will finally break through to that next level and attain what you have been struggling for. Okay, so I hope that helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you did, the best thing to do right now while it's fresh in your mind is to head over to deepgame.com and join us in our free masterclass. Now, this is where you'll learn all 8 laws of the deep game and all of the fundamentals that you need to know about the part of basketball that's played with the mind. We've had players call this the best hour of basketball learning of their lives, and it's completely free right now. So head over to deepgame.com to join us, and I will see you there.